Good morning again. Hey, it's another project for today. And today we're going to be working on this lovely Cobey manure spreader. Probably from the 50s. She's been a solid runner. Replaced the frame a while back, a couple years ago. She needs some help, needs some assistance. But today what we're going to be working on is getting the chain out of here. This stuff's pretty rough and pretty worn. I got some new steel to weld onto the chain for the crossbar, for the drag bars to actually be working across. So we're going to be replacing these little pads. The chain I got doesn't have these pads on it, and so we'll cut those and weld those on, and then I may need to get some more these drag bars and get that started. So my buddy Frank was gracious enough to loan me a piece of leftover steel that he had of this chain, and it just happens to have a prefabricated pad on it, and this is what we're going to be putting on our new chain. And I just need to figure out the height and actually the length of it off of that chain. Looks like it's sitting there right at 2 inches. All right, that's what we need to cut it at. I think I'm going to need about 20. I think my math's off. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those bars. The 7th one's hanging down here. There she is. And I'm guessing I got another 7 underneath. So that's 14 times 2. I need 28. Well, I'm pretty sure this chain came out of China, and the measurements on this are not standard US. So I know it's 2 inches, but that's like, what is that, 50 millimeters? And this is just over 1 inch. So it's just over, well, each inch is 25 millimeters approximately. So this is like 26, 28 millimeters, just over 1 inch. So this is a little bit bigger piece of steel. It's 1 1/4 inches. And then it's a little bit thicker than this is too. So I don't know the exact thickness, but I'd say it's a millimeter thicker. It's not gonna matter once we get that on there. So I got a 6-foot stick here. And if I get 2 inches, that's 6 pieces per foot. That'll give me 36 pieces, give me more than enough, a little bit left over for other projects. So I'm getting ready to cut this piece into 2-inch chunks. And I was trying to rig a jig up here on my anvil, and I'm just like, okay, let's weld something on here and brace that out and then cut out. Well, this old farrier's rasp I have is, it's hard to see, exactly 2 inches. So what we'll do is we'll just throw this piece up here, lay it across a couple different things, and then I can just mark these out at 2 inches and just cut right along there. Okay, I cheated. I just took my tape measure, marked out every 2 inches, and then just took a straight edge square and marked it at 2 inches. It'll be just shy, just a saw blade cut, shy of 2 inches, but for what we're doing, that'll be perfect. Well, I really envy those guys that have those nice little chop-off saws. Just clamp your piece in and pull the handle down, but unfortunately, this is what we got to work with today. This is what's going to get the job done. Well, I had a sanding disc on this, put on the cutoff blade, and then proceeded to drop the tool. That ain't gonna work. I got another one. We'll make it work. I'm not gonna bore you with the cutting, so I'll show you what I get when I'm done. Well, there they are. Now I just gotta deburr them and then knock that edge off. So when they weld this tab on, this little pad, they put it right smack in the middle of the chain, which is a really good idea, but you've got this little indentation right here. So you gotta notch that little piece out of the pad to get it to fit in there nice and smooth, so you can weld it up really, really good along that side and then on the other side. I'm not sure if it's gonna be faster to grind that little edge off there, that little indentation off there, or to cut it off with a with the wizard wheel on the handheld grinder. Well, let's see how long it takes on the grinder. Got an old Craftsman here that my grandfather gave me 35 years ago, at least, maybe 40. Let's go 35. And that took about 45 seconds on the grinder to get that angle in there. The only problem we're going to run into is the clearance between this particular link and where this sets. So we weld that on there, we have to be really, really careful that that other link can pivot smoothly around that. But I think that'll work. It's probably going to take me a lot longer to cut one. Let's see how long it takes to cut one with the cutoff wheel. Well, it appears that the cutoff's about 15-20 seconds faster. Then you've got 28 of these things to do. My math ain't that good that fast. All right, that's a lot of time saved, so we'll use the cutoff wheel and I'll show you what we got when we're done. All right, we're gonna make a jig to cut these out really fast. So I'm gonna cut it, flush with the end of the anvil here. And then I'm gonna use this little piece. There we go again. Weld this piece on right about here. And then I'm gonna displace this something to sit against fully. And then I'll probably weld the piece over here on that top corner, and then it can only go in one way. Then we'll get it at the right angle. And we'll cut the other, I think I got 3 cut already. 4, and that'll give me the other 24 to cut. All right, I'll show you what the jig setup looks like when I'm done. It probably wouldn't hurt to show you guys what I'm welding with here. I got a Lincoln Weld Pack 100 flux core. There's no tank, there's no bottle on this. We're just flux coring this thing. Picked up some, oh, it's upside down. Oh well. Some 035 from Harbor Freight, and had to get some anti-spatter spray because this stuff, whoo, man, she'll really chuck out the slag. Well, I hope you guys caught what I said on that last one. I forgot to turn the fan off again. Some people say it's sacrilegious to weld on your anvil. Let me know below in the comments if you guys think that this is a cardinal sin or if this is just fine. Good use of a tool and a piece of equipment. Make your job easier. Well, that last one was way too aggressive. So I've moved it back off the edge just a little bit. That should give me a good 1/8 of an inch longer. Well, let me show you what I got here. It's still hot. But I mean, that's about where it's supposed to go with this other, well, let's get that other chain rotating through it. So it's supposed to be about right there, and just look at that gap up there. It's just too much. I'll probably end up turning it over and cutting this side or this tab up here off. Doesn't matter if we've got a corner knocked off in the middle of the manure spreader. That'll do. That's a lot better. All right. Looks like we've got 7 links after the pad. So we got 1 pad welded here, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, weld the 7th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, weld the 7th. All right. And there's always more to it than we expect. So in the process of pulling this chain through, the old one to get the new stuff in, here's the new stuff, here's the old one. I had to grind out the center link here, which looked just like this. So I ground this out, and then a metal little rod was left inside the chain link. So I had to drive that out, which took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Don't forget this guy, 8 tools just to get those little rivets out. So now what I'll do is I'll spread this out, bring this forward. You get the idea. And then I'll put another pin through here. And then when I go to pull this the rest of the way through, it'll just drag all this chain right along with it. And I won't have to climb underneath there, and hopefully I might have to weld some bars on here first. Otherwise she's gonna want to fall in. didn't think of that. Well, I just did. Better to think about it now than when you're halfway through and it falls off. I might have to tack something every third pad to keep the chain wide enough to stay on the frame underneath when I pull it through. And these crossbars, these drag bars, have a slight little wow to them. So it's not going underneath that lip really well. So I'm gonna grab 2x4. Lay that right on that. We'll call it a rib. I don't know what it's called. Just let her get started through there. It should do a lot. We'll come back here and pull a little bit more. See if we can get this moving a bit. She's bound up pretty good. Okay, well, I got a little ways, got a little ahead of the recording, and I apologize for that. So I hooked the new chain to the old chain, started pulling it through, and I realized that part of the problem that I had before was there was a huge gap on one side between the wall and the chain, and what had happened was I welded these bars too close together on the pads, and what that did was it brought it in. So I made a little jig here. Let's see if I can get this out of here and show you guys. So a little jig here. This is just so that it sits flat on the chain, but it's got a little notch in it right there, and the other end also has a little notch in it. Yeah, right there. It's kind of hard to see because it's focusing on the gravel. Well, anyhow, you can kind of see that little notch there. So let's put this back in. This little notch goes over here on the other side. Just notches right in there. Then you come over here and you can see where this is not quite notched up right. So we notch it on the same link we're welding on, and it just sits right down on there, and that gives me the exact spacing that I need. Well, that's a welcome sight. Get all that old chain and drag bar out of there. I've got the new shaft in there just to hold the sprockets in place because I wanted to wrap the chain around everything here. I'll show you what happened. I welded these two main sets of chain together, and excuse me, not together, but I welded the pads on, and then I welded the third chain that I had. Got all the pads on there that I needed. Take a look at that. I welded that one off by one link, so I had to cut two new ones in. Cut two new ones and weld them in. It didn't take that long. It only took an extra like 5 minutes, but still frustrating. I'm just gonna leave them there. She'll run just fine. All right, guys, well, here she is all put back together. I got the new chain in it. Just oiled it up again. Had it sitting for a few months. I pressure washed it out, and then I just oiled up the chain. Got a little rusty sitting, but she sure bends real good still. Tried it out a couple times, works really, really good. I don't have the guard on it. But I just oiled everything up, put oil in the gearboxes here and down here. They're working really, really good. Sorry I didn't get to the final process of showing you how the chain went back together, but it was just, she's all put back together. She's running like a champ. Do need to go through the gearbox. That's a whole nother video there. Buddy of mine welded that all back up. It was in pieces. It was in 6 pieces. And he just brazed it all back together because it's cast iron. The main sprocket here. This guy, he did a really nice job. All right, that's it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed. And thanks for watching. Appreciate it.